إلهي إلهي يا ربي علاماته نسلبس يا ربي قوياك فماته قبسمك إن قدي كنت جنتاته جرون دنيا دمتو كان بكر إقران سينكي يا كوبي فنو يا إخواني هادرا جبان جبين نكبو هندو سرا قلها جبين كنكي كفا موتي علاماته خاتمات نتولشي قويا قدان ساته نكبسيس يا ربي شفي جنتاته.
The parents. Is it really of hikmah? Is it of hikmah? You as a parent, you are the one who is introducing this practice. And then now you want to look at your kid and say, okay, Tayyib, we can't do this anymore. Tayyib, why? If it was right, then keep doing it. But if it's wrong, why start it to begin with? Sah wala jama'ah? And this is kind of where the problem occurs. Now for older folks, I ask the following question. Why are you so happy to celebrate your birthday? Really? You probably have more wrinkles than the year before. Awalan. Your health is probably worse off than it was the year before. You have more sins definitely, and inshallah a lot more good deeds as well than the year before. You're a year closer to your death. So let me ask you one more time, is it really a time to be all, wow, I'm a year older? Yeah, you're a year closer to your death. That's what you really are. So I'd say you can celebrate your birthday, but don't celebrate it with, no, it's not a time to, no, that's a time of reflection. Subhanallah, another year went by. And it happened so quickly. Kalamhat al-basar. Like the wink of an eye. And this is my life. I have to get serious. I have to put my serious belt on. So I don't think birthdays is a time, especially when you're 40, 50, or 60, what are you celebrating? Now if you're young and you're still, you look at yourself in the mirror and you think you're the best thing that happened to humanity, that's something else. But when you're 30 and 40 and 50, are you serious? No, seriously, I don't mean to be sarcastic and I'm sorry, but I think we have to look at these things through different lenses, So celebrate birthdays, but celebrate birthdays in a different context. Let it be a day of tawbah for you. Let it be a day of nadama for you, or for us. Na'am? And plus, save that cake. So I would say, buy a cake on 364 days out of the year, but just don't buy the cake on your whomever's birthday it is. Muslims and their Prophet. Now this leads to the second question. Do we celebrate the birthday of Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam? Why are you guys so extreme? SubhanAllah. Akhi, hawwan ala anfuskum. Why are you guys? No. Don't you guys like to have fun, yani? La ilaha illallah. Barakallahu feekum. For those that are watching maybe that might see this later on, we don't celebrate the Prophet's birthday for a very simple reason, and we don't have to go into yes and no in a debate. هذا لا يحتاج إلى مناظرة أو إلى جدال. The companions radiallahu anhum, we don't have strong narrations or any narrations really that we depend on where it says that the companions used to celebrate the birthday of the Prophet. Who loves the companions more? We or the companions? Who loves the Prophet more? We or the companions? Okay. So if they loved him that way, if that was sufficient for them not to celebrate the birthday of the Prophet, should it not be min babi awla? Is it not more deserving that it is enough for us as Muslims? It should be. In other words, if the companions are okay with not celebrating the birthday of the Prophet, yet they still loved him the most, then min babi awla, it is more deserving that we also stay away from it. Right? Allah is not asking us to be creative when it comes to the affair of the deen. Allah is asking us to what? يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا أَطِيعُوا اللَّهَ وَأَطِيعُوا الرَّسُولَ وَأُولِي الْأَمْرِ مِنْكُمْ is to obey, that's it. مَا أَتَاكُمُ الرَّسُولُ فَخُذُوهُ وَمَا نَهَاكُمْ عَنْهُ فَانْتَهُوا. Right? So alhamdulillah, we don't have to go into a jidal in terms of that. Bismillah. Okay, now this is only for academic purposes. Right? I don't want no one يَجْهَلْ عَلَيْهِ أَسْتَغْفِرُ. This is, people say that this is Jesus, right? This is what we see in churches, and this is only for teaching purposes only. This is why I got it. Now who knows who this person is? Abu Imran, there's a book in there. Can you get it, please? Who? No. This is supposed to be Jesus. Yep. Yeah. There's a yellow book in there. Yeah. You can grab it. Yeah, please. Thank you. طيب. Now I want to share with you guys just a quote here, inshallah ta'ala. This is supposed... Tell them I'll be there just when I'm done. Bilal, please. I'm busy giving a lecture. This is supposed to be Isa, and this is Mithras. Historically speaking, in the Old Testament and in the New Testament Bible, right, the whole Bible from front to back, there is not even an implicit or an indirect passage that suggests that Jesus was born on the 25th of December. But who was born on the 25th of December? This person right here. And who is this? This is a sun god called Mithras. And this is a book talking about how the worship of Jesus went from Saturday to Sunday, right? For whoever is interested in this book. But I just want to read this passage. I find it to be very interesting. It says, on page 260, he says, After the peace, the Church of Rome, to facilitate the acceptance of the faith by the pagan masses, found it convenient to institute the 25th of December as the feast of the temporal birth of Christ, to divert them from the pagan feast celebrated on the same day in honor of the invincible sun, Mithras, the conqueror of darkness. So one is to understand, what do we understand from here? Jazakallah khair, thank you. They did not, how we got the 25th of December, this is important for us to know. Wallahi, we should be curious, like why out of 365 days, why the 25th of December? Now they did not, those who made the decision, the elite who made the decision, they did not take 365 little papers, kind of crumb them in a ball and put them in the hat, and then they had this big hat and they said, okay, put your hand in the hat and see what date you get. So they didn't put their hands and say, oh, 25th of December. Okay, we'll choose this as the date of our Lord, the date birth of our Lord. No, the way it worked is that as Christianity was growing and making its way through the Roman Empire, a lot of the Christians were finding somewhat of a defiance from the pagans who they wanted to convert into the religion of Christianity. In other words, they weren't the pagans that the Christians were trying to get in the religion. They were not wanting to let go of their customs and practices and traditions. And that's why they found it difficult for them when they saw that the pagans were very adamant about keeping their traditions and keeping their customs. The alternative then was, if we can't make them leave their pagan practices, let us make some form of compromise. You guys see what's happening? Are you guys with me? So let us make a compromise. So the Christians, as they were moving along Europe, east and west, right? And then west towards Europe, modern day Europe as we know it, what they did is they found somewhat of a blockade in front of them. It was not easy for the Romans to leave their long-held customs and traditions. So what they did is they said, okay, we'll meet you guys halfway. We'll meet you guys halfway. Since you guys celebrate the invincible God, because the Mithraic cult was a rivalry cult with Christianity. So Christianity, as it was making its way through Europe, and Mithraism, this Mithraic cult, they were both competing for what? They were both competing for converts. Do you guys get that? So because they saw that they were adamant, what they did is they said, you know what, let us meet halfway. We are willing to compromise. Still keep the 25th of December, but instead of celebrating the Mithraic God, let us then put the date of Jesus instead of the Mithraic character. La ilaha illallah. These two don't go together. Isa, Jesus upon whom be peace, and the sun god Mithras, they don't go together. That's like having a swastika here, and I'm not being sarcastic, but it's like putting a swastika here, and then putting a Jewish man here, and then putting them in the same picture. Why? What I mean, in other words, they are so different and so far apart, the difference is so drastic that there is no way in the world, regardless of how much you try to reconcile, you just cannot put them under the same roof. That's like putting animosity and peace in the same portrait. You can't do that. Why? Because this is pure polytheism and pure paganism. On the other hand side, the message, at least we Muslims believe, the message that Jesus came with was what? It was Tawhid. It was pure monotheism. So how can pure monotheism, in other words, I as a Christian, I shouldn't just simply reject the 25th of December. I should vehemently, with rage, and I mean this with great anger, not me being angry, but me, if I found out that people later on are associating my oneness of God with a pagan deity in some way, I would be full of anger. I wouldn't try to make excuses as to say, yeah, the 20... No, you should be angry that people did this. Of course, if you later find out where the 25th of December came from. Are you guys with me? So who was born on the 25th of December? This God, yeah, Mithra. He said Mithra, khalas. Right? So now you know who was born on the 25th of December. There are also many other sun gods that were born on the 25th of December. So this is where the 25th of December came from. So unknown, and then he was born on the 25th of December. So where does the 25th come from? And we talked about that. Now even notice, do you guys know the yellow? Do you guys see the yellow on the back of... By the way, Jesus was not a blonde man with yellow hair and blue eyes. Something completely, very different. Very different, right? This is not, when you think of Isa alayhi salam, you are not to think of this man, you know, white fair skin and blue eyes. This is the Hollywood Jesus. But that's not the historical Jesus that we believe in, peace be upon him. Right? The many problems with Santa. Now here are the problems. I try to kind of tackle one by one, and inshallah I think you'll enjoy it. The first problem I think that Santa poses is that he's a fictitious character. In other words, he's a character that does not exist. So I, as a parent, I inculcate in my kids that no, Santa's coming to town. Santa's going to be here. And I know of many people that say, you know, I don't get it. Ever since we were kids, that's a good breeze, we can leave that door open, that'll be kind, I'm burning. They said every time we would go to our uncle's house, we would, at the time of Christmas, they would tell us, oh, Santa just left and he hit the corner. As we grew up, we found out, you know what, the Tooth Fairy, Christmas, these are characters, fictitious, if you would say mirages, or they don't exist, right? So the first thing is that it's a lie. It's a lie. When I'm telling you there's Santa, I'm lying to you because this is a person who does not exist. The second problem I believe with Santa, he does not know the unseen. Because tradition has it that Santa, what he does is he has this very, very big scroll. This is what kids are told. That Santa has this very, very big, right, asfar they call them. And he would write all the good names, all the names of the good boys and the good girls. What this is telling us is that he leaves everyone else out. But how does he know who's really good and who's really bad? قُلْ لَا يَعْلَمُ مَنْ فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ الْغَيْبَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ وَمَا يَشْعُرُونَ أَيَّانَ يُبْعَثُونَ. Say it is only Allah who knows the ghaib, the unseen. In the heavens and the earth, it is only Allah who knows the unseen. So for us to say that, oh, he knows, right? I think that's not being genuine, nor is it being fair, right? The third problem I find, who is really anticipated? Like when you talk with a lot of people, a lot of kids really, they're not waiting for Jesus. They're not excited because it's time to remember Jesus. They're more excited because what? Because it is the time to receive gifts. You guys get that? So really Jesus is kind of out of the picture, alayhi salam, right? The fourth one is parental discredit. Now this is something that I never understood. We Muslims or human beings, when we do something, don't we want to get credit for it? Don't we want to get credit for it? When I purchase something, when I donate, all of us want credit for that which we do, especially if it's something good. وَهَذَا يعني أَمْرٌ بَشَرِي. This is something very, very normal. I feel that law, or that human nature, is somewhat suspended temporarily just for Santa Claus. So I will go buy gifts with my own money, and with my own sweat, and then I would come to my children and tell them, hey, this is from Santa. You see that box? You're going to open it up in a few days. Does that make sense? My kids will probably end up liking and anticipating Santa more than their own parents. But I just do not understand that. Why do I buy the gifts and tell my kids, oh, it's from someone else when I was the one that, you know, I was the one that made the purchase? So parental discredit. This is the other thing I find very odd. All are rewarded. Now the other lie with Santa, is that he says, if, you know what a lot of kids tell their parents? Or the opposite way around. The parents tell the kids, if you're good and you stay, and you get good grades, you'll get what? You'll get the gift. What happens on Christmas Day is whether you were a brat or good, you still get gifts. So it's still not, so the kids know, year after year, they know if they're going to be brats or if they're going to be good or not, they know that they're going to get the gift. So it's another lie, right? So everybody's being rewarded if you've been good or not, right? So I think that's the many problems with Santa. Merry Christmas, question mark, right? The birth of God. What does Merry Christmas mean? Merry Christmas is you're congratulating someone for two things. You're saying congratulations, you are commemorating the day that your God is born, or you are commemorating the day that the Son of God was born. Both of them pose a problem with us Muslims, right? The first one is, if we say that I'm saying Merry Christmas, I'm kind of saying congratulations, hey, have a good time, since your God was born. We Muslims have a problem with that. Because this comes at the core root of the message of Islam, right? It completely contradicts it head on. Because Allah tells us, قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدَ اللَّهُ الصَّمَدِ لَمْ يَلِدْ وَلَمْ يُولَدْ. He does not beget, nor is He begotten. So we believe that God is the first without a beginning and the last without an ending. So this is why I can't tell you, I'm sorry, like I wrote in my post, I will help you take out your garbage. I will help you with your grass. I will do the snow. I will invite you over for food. But I cannot tell you Merry Christmas, nor can I help you with anything that has to do with Christmas. So we have to put things in their correct context, right? So if we're okay with God being born, then say Merry Christmas all you want. But if you as a Muslim, if you have a problem with that, we have to kind of say, woo, put your brakes on a bit there, right? The second is we say birth of God's Son. We believe that God does not have a son. So it's a problem either or. Because Christmas, people are commemorating and remembering and honoring the day on which either God was born or the Son of God was born. And both of them are an issue for us. Allah tells us in Surah Maryam, He says, وَقَالُوا اتَّخَذَ الرَّحْمَنُ وَلَدًا لَقَدْ جِئْتُمْ شَيْئًا إِدًّا تكاد السماوات يتفطرن منه وتنشق الأرض وتخر الجبال هدا أن دعوا للرحمن ولدا وما ينبغي للرحمن أن يتخذ ولدا. Allah tells us this is something that literally the heavens, the skies would fall asunder because they are attributing a son to God. So both of them, it's an issue from both angles. Moving on, Muslims and Christmas. Now what I like to share quickly here is we Muslims living in America, if someone tells us, how do we deal with Christmas? How do we deal with Christmas? If someone tells us Merry Christmas, if someone tells us Merry Christmas, are we to say, hey, don't say that next time, I'm a Muslim and I don't celebrate these things. You should apologize. No. Now the opposite is to go to the complete opposite and say, well, hey, you too, thank you. This is also, I believe, is also a problem. Why? Because when I say you too, I'm in a way indirectly approving of what it is you're doing. Right? So how can we reply? How can we respond? If it is someone that you know and you can engage in dialogue with, explain to them why you as a Muslim, you do not celebrate Christmas and why you cannot celebrate Christmas. Explain if it's someone you know. But if it's someone at the register or someone that just said it accidentally or someone at work quickly, what you can do is you can say, thanks, I appreciate it. You can say things like, wow, I can't believe it's been a whole year already. Or you can say, hey, make sure to enjoy the days off, man, make use of it. So you don't have to necessarily go into this whole spiel of, well, hold on, let me tell you why, come back. Let me tell you why we don't celebrate Christmas. No. You don't have to do none of that. Right? So you can tell them in another way, hey, you know what, yeah, enjoy your time off, I can't believe we're done. Okay, khalas, we're done 5 minutes. Is that good? We're done 5 minutes. Khalas? I said everybody's happy. So we say, you know what, no, hey, enjoy your time off, I appreciate it, and I'm sure he's not going to tell you, hey, no, you have to tell me Merry Christmas because I know what's in your mind. No. Wallahi, and I've noticed people that tell me Merry Christmas sometimes if I'm silent, do you know what they do immediately after that? Oh, I'm sorry, I hope I didn't offend you. You must not celebrate Christmas. People are so courteous and so gentle and so understanding. People are not going to get mad because you don't tell them Merry Christmas. I don't celebrate it. Hey, you don't celebrate my celebration, but I still can respect you. So we want to be firm but not arrogant. We want to be firm but not arrogant. The second approach is, the second thing I think that a lot of people face is, can we accept gifts on Christmas? Some ulama say no, some say yes. I am of the opinion that and this is the opinion of Shaykh Walid, because Ali radiallahu anhu kama fil Bayhaqi, he accepted a gift on the day of Nairuz, and Ali radiallahu anhu said, Isna'u kulla yawmin Fayruz. But the ulama, they restricted it. They said, if you are going to accept a gift on the 25th of December, make sure it is a gift that has nothing to do with the custom or with the practices. So if someone gives you a tree or gives you a Santa doll, I can't accept it. But if they give you a pair of shoes, glasses, right, if they give you Rogaine, if your hair is falling off, I mean, that's okay to take, right? And please, if you get some Rogaine out there, I don't mind using it, right? So, and the last thing that's also important is that we parents, we have to find out and understand the times that we are living in. It is not enough to tell our children, this is kufr, we don't celebrate it, be quiet. Look, this is people who don't know how to read, write, or can walk straight. This is not the approach. We have to sit down with our children during these holidays. We have to explain to them why we don't celebrate it. Let it be a time where I sit down with my family. First, I do my thorough research in regards to this holiday, and then I can educate my family as well. One last thing, we want our kids to be proud of who they are. We do not want our kids to look at everybody celebrating and then they got that real sobby look on their faces and say, oh, I wish I can celebrate it. Yeah, we're Muslim, you know, sucks to be Muslim, I know. No, we want our kids to be confident. And the only way we can expect our kids to be confident is when the parents are confident. Because the confidence that the parents have, the kids are going to derive their confidence from no one other than their parents. So if the parents are wishy-washy, sometimes they say Merry Christmas, and sometimes they go Halloween tricking and treating, and sometimes they do this and that, the kids are going to see that their parents are wishy-washy. Sometimes we wear the hijab, sometimes we don't, sometimes we make salat, sometimes we don't. No, we as parents, we have to be very firm, and we have to instill in our kids, it is okay to be different. Because when Eid comes around, and Bilal, just 2 minutes, when Eid comes around, we will decorate the house, we will give you presents, we will make sure to replace and substitute that time lost if you feel that's how it is. So we expect our parents to do their due diligence in terms of research, asking questions, and our kids, again, when someone asks them about Christmas, we're done. When someone asks them about Christian, we don't want them to kind of be insecure. No, we want them to say, yeah, I don't celebrate Christmas, it's not our holiday. You know, but can I tell you why we don't? This is the kids we want to raise. Okay? We can be nice, we can be courteous with them. And one last thing, a lot of people say, well, they tell us Eid Mubarak. Eid Mubarak is good for them, especially if it's Eid al-Adha, because Eid Mubarak, Eid al-Adha, they're commemorating, what are we doing? We're slaughtering the sacrifice and commemorating our father Abraham. And they also respect and honor Abraham. So it does not in reality conflict with their faith. But leniency in the faith of other people does not by default necessitate leniency in our faith. Because someone else can do, it doesn't mean that I also have to do the same as them. Hey, I'm sorry we're different, but we can still respect one another. So we have to understand things in their context. So one last thing, parents, make sure that you are being a role model for your kids. If you're expecting something from your own kids, make sure that you are the first one to do it. Right? Shakarallahu hudurakum. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you all for being such a great presence. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayka. Wallahu a'lam. What's my leg room with that? So I have to stay here, huh? Okay.